I'm wrestling, do not weep for me. Celebrate what I am. Celebrate what I have been. Celebrate what I represent. And celebrate the many ways I have impacted your life. I will survive this test as I have survived others. I am forever etched into the very fiber of all mankind. The world needs me. Time is on my side. History guarantees me. I am wrestling. Do not wait for me.
What's up, everybody? This is episode 19 of the T-Road Funky Show, and for the very first time, we are doing this live in person. The man, the legend, Tommy Rowlands, has came to...
What's up, my brother? It's good to be in Milwaukee.
He's in Milwaukee, and we're sitting in my basement right now, and we are going to film episode number 19. Thank you, as always, to Defend Soap, defend what you have built. We've got the whole way through season number 1 of the T-Road Funky Show, so I'm excited. Tommy, we're coming off the NCAA Championships. What do you think?
Incredible. Obviously capped off by the finals. It's got to be the best NCAA tournament we really ever have seen. By and large, first round all the way to the championship finals. And, capped off in Madison Square Garden with Snyder's win over Gwiazdowski. Obviously, can't really talk enough about how good that match was, man. I mean, it was epic. As a former heavyweight, I'm very proud that the tournament ended the way it did.
And they said that was the best heavyweight match of all time. But where it was, when it was, and what it meant has a lot to do with it being the best heavyweight match of all time. Mm-hmm. And I agree. But I agree with Tommy. I sat down. I got my workout in early last Thursday. I finished up, and then I got home. I sat on my couch and I watched so much NCAA wrestling coverage. It was unbelievable. I mean, ESPN3 made it nice. I would have loved for it to be on Flow. I was ESPN3, and I had 2 computers up. I was watching all the matches. So from the start to the beginning, it was wild. I mean, let's just start. That first round was, it's always wild. And we always forget about how wild it was the year before because after we have the results, it doesn't seem so surprising. But, man, it was a wild first round, right?
No doubt about it. I think... we had an over-under of 4, I think, what was it, 4.5 guys over-under who won't place, and we finished with a total of 8.
That's how many it was?
We finished with a total of 8,
oh, wow.
And so I don't know how many of those top 4 guys went off in the first round.
Well, in 174, there was 3.
Well, yeah, we've got Real Budo,
Butler, and...
Were you suicidal at that time?
Oh, God. I already told you. You're making fun of me. I told them I was suicidal for a second there because, Blaze Butler, who's a Missouri Tiger, lost. Real Budo, who's a family friend, loses right after that. And then Willie Mickles was losing and getting written out for a good portion of the first period right away. And that was like bam, bam, bam. I'm thinking if Mizzou loses Willie in the first round, they're in a bad place. Brian's obviously in a bad place because then he hurt himself in the last 5 seconds of the match.
No doubt. So I actually had him picked to be in the final. I had him picked to win it on my fantasy team. I'm not on my fantasy team, on a prediction poll that I was in. And ironically, a Buckeye won that weight class, which I'm happy to be wrong on that. But, man, that first round, I don't remember as volatile or tragic of a first round for so many highly seeded guys. So that was a great way to open the tournament up because... And
really another one, Joey McKenna was right... I don't know if you got to see that match.
Oh, yeah. He was 2-1, right?
They gave Zach Horan of Central Michigan, they gave him the 2 points. Crazy. And then they go to challenge, they take it away, and he wins the match.
Unbelievable.
But, that could have been another number 2 seed in the first round also.
You think about the tournament, though. You got 5 rounds. In the first round, the only thing you can hope for in the first round is upsets, right? Because there's not any good matchups.
Yeah,
so it's not like
theoretically, yes.
So what you want out of the first round is upsets. Plenty of them in the first round, and then the finals on the backside, you're looking for guys that let it all hang out to really not see a bunch of 3-2 snooze fest, which we traditionally see in the NCAA finals. And I think we got both sides of it. It was as good as it gets. And then the team race was not really decided until midway through the semis, which, it would have been nice to have it go later into the tournament, but it still wasn't officially decided until midway through the semis. So,
the fun thing about the team race, to me, was all the other spots are still undecided.
Yeah.
I mean, or Oklahoma State had it was a terrible quarterfinals, I think.
Yep.
And they dropped way down. And then, they came storming back that Friday night when they punched everyone through the blood round. And then it was between, Missouri was kind of a little off the pace, but between Oklahoma State, Ohio State, Iowa, and Virginia Tech, we're kind of moving back and forth there through Friday night through Saturday morning.
3-4-5 was up for grabs when Saturday morning started between Virginia Tech, Iowa, and Ohio State. So, and I forget the sequence, but Virginia Tech was in third going into the Miles Martin match. Iowa was in fourth, and Ohio State was in fifth.
Yep.
When Miles Martin won.
Well, and remember, Iowa loses their first 3 matches in the finals. They lost all of them.
They went 1-9 on Saturday.
Oh,
1-9.
come on!
I swear to you, 1-9.
Wow.
The only match was like a pedestrian Burak win for fifth or something like that.
Wow,
But yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
1-9 on the last day. So they didn't do very well. Ohio State went 6-0 on the third day. Wow. You had Tomasello go 2-0, Bo Jordan go 2-0. Miles Martin won it. Kyle Snyder wins it. Those 6 matches were good enough.
Wait, they only had 4 All-Americans?
Only had 4 All-Americans.
Oh, my God. This is where Willie and CP pissed me off because they go with this NCAA tournament is the real way to determine the best team thing, right?
No,
and then the one day I made the argument, well, listen, give me these 5 guys. Give me these 4 guys. Me, Taylor, Stieber, and Ruth. We win the NCAAs most years.
You'll lose in a dual meet.
And you lose every dual meet regardless.
Perfect example is actually my senior year at college, Ben. I've already talked about this on the podcast, but
had third.
We took third in the country at the NCAA tournament. During the year, we had 5 guys with over 32 wins. We had 5 guys with less than 12 wins. We went 8-11 in dual meets, and we lost by 1 match to Illinois, who was ranked number 1. Every match was a dogfight because 5 matches were going to be a win, or maybe not, and 5 matches were likely to be a loss. So, we got some music playing in the background.
I don't know. I think that's our theme music. My
that's right. There we go. Hopefully that's not ruining the audio.
Yeah, you know what? So I don't see where you can even come up with the argument that the NCAA tournament is the determiner of the best team because theoretically you can have 4 guys go and win it.
Yeah.
Or 4 guys go and take third. And that doesn't make your team great. That makes you have 4 great guys.
I also don't think that the dual meets are the 100% accurate representation of the best team in the sport of wrestling.
Well, so what is then? If
the
tournament's not, and the
gun to my head, I'm going with duels. We already talked about this 6 or 7 weeks. Gun to my head, I'm going with duels. But to me, there should be some type of combination that equals what the best team is. You've got the dual meet guys, you've got the tournament guys. To me, I think in all reality, it should be a combo of the two. We've talked about this 6 or 7 weeks ago, where you have a national dual meet, you have a national dual meet tournament with various implications, different implications, and then we go into the national tournament as we know it with Penn State starting the tournament with 12 points, Ohio State starting with 8, or however the national dual meet went, dual meet championships went, or just how the regular season went in duels. That way, you have implications in the dual meet setting. You're rewarding teams for having balance, even if that balance includes 8 guys that would go 2-2 at the Nationals and not score.
You know who had that? I'll bring it up on the computer right now, but I remember looking at Nebraska. Nebraska had, oh my God, they had so many guys lose in the round of 12 or the round of 16. It was totally freaking unbelievable.
Yep. And they still did good at the tournament. I mean, they still played.
Not bad, but, they were really high those first couple days because obviously they had 10 guys there. So Lambert loses, I think that's the round of 12. Montoya takes 5th.
Soufflon.
Aberdeen's round of 12. Soufflon round of 12. Berger's round of 12.
Oh, my God.
Austin Wilson 7th. Micah Barnes is that's probably round of 16 there. Dudley obviously is in the finals. Studebaker is round of 12. And
so they
Colin
have
Johnson's round of 16. So they got 3 All-Americans, but no guy finished worse than the round of 16.
Yeah.
That's freaking impressive.
Yeah, no, that's very impressive.
But let's see what they ended up placing. I think it's like...
They did all right.
8th place. It's not great, but
if let's say they had, I don't even know how their dual meet season went. I just think that a combination of the both, it's still you still maintain the integrity of the National Wrestling Tournament as we know it today. Madison Square Garden, the hype, the fervor, the team race, the individual implications, the storyline of a 3-day event, it's still all there. But you're starting the tournament with handicaps for people based on how good or bad they did in the dual meet season or the dual meet tournament, whatever it might be. So it combines all of the great things about the sport. I think that would be most representative of the best team. Not just the tournament, not just duels. To the point, gun to my head, I'm going with duels. But that being said, I'm a little bit long-winded here. I mean, it's the greatest event in the world. This NCAA tournament is the greatest event in the world. I mean, it's 20,000 people, Madison Square Gardens. The way that the event went was amazing.
And I was looking at this, not to get off task, but Oklahoma, you talk upstate first round. Oklahoma State loses Eddie Kamara first round, who's a number 6, loses to Connor Yautsy, who's a pedestrian 12-13.
Returning All-American.
Connor Yautsy freaking goes all the way back, beats my guy Barlow McGee in the blood round from Missouri.
We also know who beat your guy Barlow McGee.
I want to talk about that match. Okay, listen, I ate some crow on Dylan Peters, but I couldn't 100% watch the match. I was coaching practice. I had the projector up on the wall, Tommy, so I was kind of watching.
Yeah.
But Peters wrestled from his damn knee the whole time.
Yeah, I don't like the way he wrestles.
It was ridiculous how he didn't get called for stalling, and then he wins in double overtime.
Dylan Peters made you eat some crow.
But I'll eat some crow. I didn't see that coming. And Barlow smacked him around at the MAC championships, and then the refs let Dylan stall it out. And, sometimes that's what it takes. Dylan, you got it done. It's not how I would have got it done, but you did get it done, and I apologize for that comment I made. So let's talk about Penn State. I mean, they're just so freaking impressive. Is that right? What are we gonna say? They're impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like saying it, but you got to call a spade a spade. That team, first of all, they put 5 in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
The only way any team had a chance was if they had a big gun crap down his leg. And if you look at it, they finished with 123 points. If a big gun craps down his leg, that's 20 points. They still have 103, 6 more than Okie State. They still probably would have won, but it would have been an interesting race. So
yeah, well, I mean, obviously Oklahoma State had Kamara crapped down his leg, and Ohio State missed out on.
Mick Jordan was in the semis with 7 seconds to go in the quarters, and then he didn't play. So there's a lot of things but yeah, Penn State. There's nothing Penn State did that would have put anybody in the hunt. So the way they wrestled, Zane Rutherford,
Nolf is
a stud. He's a stud. He lost to a stud, but he's a stud. Megaludis finally winning his title. And to your point, I think you tweeted it out. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of how Megaludis wrestles, and
I've never been a fan of the guy ever.
But
ever.
It was cool. It was cool to see him.
Yeah, it's bizarre, cool. Right?
Yeah.
This happened to me. Who did this happen? Someone else recently where I've never been a fan of Megaludis, and just you see him come up short so many times. You see him try and then all of a sudden you see him win, and you get that warm fuzzy feeling.
By all accounts, he's everybody says he's the hardest worker. Everybody says he's a great kid. Everybody really likes him. So people that I know, let's say there's 8 people that I know well within the Penn State program. They all speak very highly of him. So how could you not like to see a guy like that win?
And then he wins, and you're a fan of him. You won me over. It took you 4 years in every single match, Nico.
There you go.
But you did win me over. So
absolutely.
Congratulations on your title. But the thing about these Penn State guys is they create so much separation between themselves and their opponent. They're not getting upset.
No.
I mean, they go out there and they beat people down. That's what it's crazy, right?
No, I mean the 3 Penn State guys that lost in the finals were Nolf, who lost to a freak in Imar. You've got Morgan McIntosh, who I wouldn't even call that an upset. That was a toss-up going into the match.
Definitely.
So he got beat by a guy that was capable of beating him. And then the only guy that lost was the guy that had
you can brag, Tom. You call it.
I don't want to brag because it makes it appear as if I was cheering against Bo Nickel, which I was not. I mean, I was cheering against.
You should have been.
I was cheering against him.
State.
I was cheering against him in the finals, but I'm not. I wasn't cheering against him. I wasn't cheering for him to fail. Yeah. But I think he separates himself in flurries and sequences in the sport, but he doesn't control his destiny as much as the other guys, like a Rutherford, like a Megaludis, like a Nolf. He needs to react to what other people are doing, and it caught up with him a little bit. I think with the program that he's in, Ben, that it won't be that way forever. I mean, I think behind closed doors, if you pull the curtain back, those are the conversations that Bo Nickel is going to have, Cale Sanderson is going to have with Bo Nickel. Maybe let it lay off for a couple weeks. But, hey, we've got to develop our own opportunities. We can't put ourselves across our back and make it a wild, woolly mess. We've got to control our destiny a little bit more. And then if we get in scrambles, yes, you're very good at them, and you need to make sure that you win them. But it was great. I mean, Miles Martin winning was obviously incredible.
Yeah, that was. And you know what? Like we talked about that bracket, the 174 fell apart. If you go into it, and if you would have predicted on the show, which you probably should have done because you love Miles Martin, that he was going to make the finals. I do love
Miles Martin.
A lot of people would have said you're crazy, Tommy.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing about the NCAA was we talk about we forget the upsets because we then have a new perspective on it.
You forget.
If someone tells you next year that Miles Martin wasn't supposed to make the finals, you're going to be like, why?
Right.
I don't get it. Mm-hmm. But he was the 11th seed. He beats the 6th seed. The 2 and the 3 lost first round.
Yeah.
You're never going to have that perspective.
If everybody won on Miles' side, it still wouldn't have shocked me if he made the finals. But with the way the bracket played out, it was his finals to lose. I mean, once Butler and Real Buddha went down, and then he got by Hammond in the second round, I'm thinking if he doesn't make the finals, it'll be disappointing. Whereas if everybody was winning, I would have said he can make the finals. Yeah. But it's not going to be disappointing if he doesn't make the finals. So.
Definitely. So let's talk about Oklahoma State a little bit. They have a good tournament. I don't know if I'm going to say a great tournament out of them. They get Heil and Alex Derringer obviously win it, and then they got Kalika All-American, which I'm going to talk about that match later. Joe Smith All-American, Taylor Rogers loses in round of 12, Nolan Boyd All-American, and Austin Marsden All-American. So it was a good tournament for them. I definitely don't think you can say a great tournament.
I would agree, but I would say solid. I wouldn't say that they should have their head down about that performance.
Definitely not. And then obviously Ohio State. We've talked at length about them. Virginia Tech is another program that I think this tournament got them over the hump. They've
6 All-Americans.
Yeah, they've been in this pattern where, and Missouri had this where they done really well in duels and then struggled at the nationals. And I think now that's what we've seen NC State did this year. They had a great dual team, struggled at the nationals. Missouri on their way up did that a bunch of years.
I've got to say something though with Virginia Tech, and I'm guilty. I think maybe you're a little bit guilty, Ben.
What?
And the rest of the wrestling community. We talk about great coaches in wrestling, and through 18 episodes, we've brought up the genius in Tom Ryan and Brian Smith and Rob Cole and John Smith and Tom Brands and how Papalizio's coming up. Kevin Dresser took over a program that Tom Brands left. They wanted to drop it. All the best guys transferred. He took over this program. He was coaching at Christiansburg. And fast forward 7, 8, 9 years later, however long ago that was, and he's got a wrestling program that, as far as I know, in the history of the program, they've never been relevant. They have a phenomenal dual meet season. They beat NC State, the team and the coach that we've been ranting and raving about. They win the ACC championship.
No, they lost NC State there.
Well, and talking about the dual meet season.
Duels, correct.
They win the ACC championship. They beat Michigan in the national duels. He whines and cries about not wrestling Iowa, and then he goes to the national tournament, gets 6 All-Americans, gets a team trophy, beats Iowa, and we haven't said one word about that man.
We're talking about him right now.
We're talking, and that guy deserves big time ups. 100%. Big ups to Kevin Dresser.
And so this is one of those teams where I think this is the one that got them with the hump because a lot of these guys are coming back, and now they got that confidence that they can do it at the big tournament. And they took freaking
listen to this
4th place,
6 All-Americans, and Dance doesn't play.
And Zavatsky was a 5-seeder, very good. Yeah. So I mean, Chisco All-Americans. Bracetta takes 3rd, I think. I want to say he was in the 8th spot, if I'm not wrong.
Ohio, by the way.
McFadden, out of the 14th spot, comes in and takes 6th place. Epperly, let's give a special shout out to him. Road Warrior Award.
Yep.
He loses first round to Casey Kent, which was a tough first round draw. Loses to Casey Kent 3-2. Comes all the way back, and this is what we're talking about, Tommy. Here, this is exactly what your big guns need to do in the back. Look at this. He goes tech fall, major, medical forfeit, major decision. That's 1,
He
2,
probably
3,
scored more on the
4,
backside than he could have on
5,
the front.
6. So that's 7.5 bonus points right there on the
That's a
backside.
lot.
I mean, that's a lot of points.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot.
So he All-Americans, Jared Haught All-Americans, and Ty Wall's All-Americans. And his match with Snyder was pretty fun, actually.
Yeah, no, Ty Wall's Ohio, by the way. It's, he's good, man. I mean, I felt bad for him. I listened to one of his Flow interviews how he never got talked about this year, which is actually true.
Yeah, it's a tough year to get talked about.
Tough year to get talked about at the weight class. You know, he didn't redeem that and beat Kyle Snyder and pull off the impossible, but what he showed was there's a lot of other years that Ty Walls could have been the national champion heavyweight. A lot of other years.
100%, and he didn't win the third place match. He had a tough match there against
Kuhn.
Adam Kuhn, who's also a stud. I mean,
those four guys are national champion caliber, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's a deep heavyweight class. And you know what? Honestly, America's had some really deep heavyweight classes when you were coming through as, you and Mako and then Cole Conrad right after that. And so there was always quite a few good heavyweights, but that was a special class. So then after Virginia Tech, we got Iowa and Tommy. Honestly, heading into Saturday, which I didn't realize they went 1-6, but I was
1-9.
1-9. I was ready to say, you know what, Tommy? I kind of put the article up, but Iowa not peaking at nationals. And they, and I was like, you know what? They had a pretty good tournament. They're wrestling good. I'm wrong. But fifth place, then they crapped the bed on Saturday. 0 national champs, and I don't think you can say, if you're an Iowa fan, I don't think you can say, I'm excited about how Iowa did here.
No, I don't think you can. I mean, yeah, if the ball bounced here or there, they could have easily been third, but they weren't. And you know, they I think is this the second or third year in a row they didn't have a national champ. They didn't have one last year, did they?
Well, Gilman didn't win. Clark didn't win. I don't think so. Ramos, that was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago. So
yeah. So he's starting to feel, and me looking at it, and we talked about Tommy, there's a lot of tough teams coming back, and Iowa has a particularly tough team. They have juniors in Gilman and
Gilman's
Clark.
going to be a senior.
Going to be seniors.
Yeah,
So there's going to be seniors. Gilman, Clark, Brooks, and Alex Meyer. And so I'm thinking, like, if they don't get something done next year, Tom Brandon's got to be feeling the heat because once you lose those four, you're not replacing them like that.
Here's the thing, though. When they let Zaleski go, it was because Tom Brands was available. Who do you... I mean,
you know who's available. You never read my article, Tommy?
No, I haven't.
I'm going to pull it up. We're sitting in front of this computer. David Taylor's available. David freaking Taylor. That's who, Tommy.
Oh, God.
I wrote this article 2 years ago about how, because I agree there's no Hawkeyes that fit the bill, that this is the guy you put in. But, I got this article about David Taylor written here, and I think David Taylor's the guy you put in there.
Oh, jeez.
Why not?
I haven't read it.
Why not? Because in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, one of the things that Iowa lacks is the ability to go get to legs. I mean, even think about in the finals, Corey Clark, he's losing, right? Yep. And he can't go and get Nishan. And somehow, which, we're going to talk about the stalling, I'm sure, at some point, but he loses without shooting. He doesn't shoot in the second and third period. I mean, it's crazy, right?
Right. Listen, I have a hard time being critical of a team that's top 5 year in and year out. So it's difficult for me because they perform at a really high level all the time, but they do perform below the seats.
Yeah, I mean 100%. And like I said, we talked about this a little bit. They can't go and get leg attacks, and they can use their shape early in the season. But when it comes to NCAAs, we saw everyone. I mean, I don't think I saw one match. Oh, actually, I take that back. Maybe Jake Ryan first round. Which I hate to say it about your coach.
Listen,
but
it
was an adrenaline dump.
It was an adrenaline dump. He definitely wrestled with an opportunity. He opened up the Pandora's box for the referee to do what he did, but that was bad. That was bad.
Do you just want to talk about the stalling right now? Do we just want to go right into that?
Let's do it.
Okay. So David Taylor, Iowa's new coach. If I was the Hawkeye AD, that's who I'd hire because David Taylor's freaking man. I make a lot of good points. Maybe I'll repost this articles this article about David Taylor being Iowa's new coach, but I think I made a lot of good points in it as to why he could be the next coach at the University of Iowa and why it'd be a smart move. Okay, so the stalling. So, Tommy, I had a handful of very smart people comment to me, and I would agree that this is the best NCAA Finals, and they also made the comment that they think it had something in particular to do with the new stall rules. Top riding, stall riding was cut down upon. There was more action in the center of the mat. And obviously we saw a few very negative consequences.
Yeah.
The Jake Ryan
I think you saw both ends of the extreme. I mean,
yeah.
You know what I mean? You saw how it's good for wrestling and how it's potentially not. I mean, the ball, if Corey Clark got even one takedown after all those stall calls and beat Nashan for the title,
it would have been a crime.
It would have been a crime.
And
it would have been a crime.
Yeah. And the other time I said, Isaac Jordan versus Derringer. Derringer's attacking, and Jordan's stalling for sure, and then Derringer finally gets takedown, and then somehow he ends up on the leg when he's on top, and the ref starts counting. And I actually tweeted if Derringer gets called for stalling now, after what's happened in 2.5 minutes of wrestling, it's a freaking crime.
No doubt. No doubt.
But you know what I think it comes back to, and then obviously we had Levon Mays had the match cost in the quarters, and that was the only match he lost because he came back and beat the same guy for third place.
Right.
At the same time, I think it all comes back down to competence of the referees.
Yep.
I mean, if the referees know how to adequately apply the calls, then everything works out. Because when a guy is sitting on his knees and not shooting, like in the Levon Mays match, that guy should have got called for stalling. And then, so if you call him for stalling a few times and you call Mays for stalling, it works out. Yep. But the fact that you didn't call Kalika at all and you call Mays twice, that makes the end decision be ridiculous.
No doubt.
And the Nashan match was, that was a bad one.
If you really think about it, these rules are actually pretty good, the rule changes, but the caliber of the official to call it correctly is required to be higher, almost.
Yeah.
You need to be able to see the sport through a lens that, is a higher level than that of what we used to have.
Yeah.
Because the rules are good if you're calling it right.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, in that Clark match, Clark Garrett, just for example, when Garrett's firing off attack after attack after attack in the first period, and Clark's not really offering any offense, why isn't Clark getting called for stalling there?
Yep.
I mean, he should be, just the same way Nashan got called for stalling in the third period.
No.
Because Nashan was kind of avoiding the action, but he also knows if I don't let him tie me and throw me, he can't shoot on me.
Right.
So I just got to kind of stay out of range here. And so Nashan's smart enough to know that, but...
Well, the other thing that bothers me with an offensive-minded wrestler is that the referee becomes conditioned to say, I know this guy isn't doing everything that he can because I saw him 4 minutes ago fire off a shot every 27 seconds. So just because you're not as aggressive as you were in the first period doesn't mean that you're stalling. And that happens to a lot of aggressive wrestlers all the time. They let the pedal off the gas a little bit, and they're getting penalized for it.
And the other one I've heard from referees, the other one I've heard is that the guy is overwhelming him. So when the guy is being overwhelmed, you can't get called for stalling.
Right.
It's like, we're at the freaking national tournament here. Throw that out the freaking door. If you're getting overwhelmed, just stall him out of the damn match.
Yep.
So I've heard that one before too. And the other, I'll tell you a funny one with the new rules that I see is this one situation I saw about 8 times last weekend. Maybe more, maybe less. I just threw that number out there. But when the top wrestler is next to the bottom wrestler, right? The bottom wrestler's out of bounds. The top guy still is keeping his foot in.
Right.
But if the bottom guy does any kind of good movement, the top guy just pulls his foot out and out of bounds, right?
Right.
But if the bottom guy crawls farther out of bounds to pull the other guy's foot out of bounds, now it looks like he's stalling, right? So what does he do? But then 10, 15 seconds tick off the clock.
Yeah.
And it's like that situation should just be stopped.
Yeah.
Because at any point the bottom guy's any good, the top guy pulls his foot out of bounds and they're out. So there's no good ending for the bottom wrestler in that situation.
Absolutely.
And I saw that get taken advantage of a lot. And the last one I want to mention is, I love this stopping the drop down. The drop down was appalling to me.
Oh, yeah.
Was to the single leg. But who got caught in the crackdown in the finals? I think it was Megaludas. Got caught in a crackdown, maybe it was semis, finals, I don't know. He gets caught in a crackdown position. Well, at that point, there's literally no way to let go of the leg.
No.
Without giving up a reversal. You let go, you're giving up a reversal. Like, how do you do that? I don't even know how you do it.
Yep.
And so... are you really giving him the option of take stall or give up a reversal? That's bullcrap to me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some of those situations.
Yeah, we've got to apply. We've got to take the thought of it and take the good pieces, leave them in. Take the bad pieces, get rid of them somehow.
But it's application by referee, right? Once you see
it's so interpretive, and you've got to be a really high level official to apply these rules the right way.
Okay, so hey, let's go into. Let's start we kind of talked about the first round, how fun it was. Let's go through the quarterfinals a little bit. Maybe talk about some of the better matches that hit the semis, that hit the finals, kind of.
Nothing really to talk about at 25, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Nothing that I.
Yahtzee gave Megaludis a good fight, and well, now we're actually talking about stalling. Mega does this, and this is kind of one of the reasons he annoys me. But then now I'm a fan of him, so he can't run anymore. He drops to the legs a lot, but never stays there for very long. No. And that's, to me, that's like, in this match in particular, the Yahtzee match, it happened a lot.
Yeah.
He should have got warned, at the very least warned him.
Yep.
But, you know, it's not appalling or anything. And David Terrell obviously beats Connor Schramm. Both guys kind of a shock, and that's where Dan's got knocked out. Mm-hmm. All right, 133. How about Earl Hall having the Vaseline on his calves?
Is that true? I saw that you tweeted that.
That's what that's what everyone was saying.
Well, you said it's a low life move if it's true, and I have no idea of how you verify that. But if that's true, that's terrible.
They stopped the match, and the people on ESPN apparently made him wipe off his calves. You know, because Deshaun's got those low ankle shots, and he also does that really great front headlock bounce grab low where he grabs the calf, and obviously with a.
Could just be that he was using lotion and it was too slippery on the back.
Well, I hope so, because I have had one person in my career where I can't prove that they purposely put Vaseline on, but after the match I was like touching my arms and they were so slippery, and I'm like, what in the hell is on my arms?
Crazy.
So yeah, if that was true, man, that's bad. 141. This is where we kind of starts getting a lot of fun in the quarters.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got to start here.
Yeah, Ashnault makes the semis. Heil makes semis. Meredith over Micah Jordan. Micah Jordan got that winning takedown with, 15, 12? It was a short time left, and it looks like he kind of just freezes and says, okay, I'm just going to be able to hold him here.
Yeah.
But Meredith doesn't stop wrestling.
Kept sitting corner, got his hand in there, which caused the uncertainty in Mick's eyes. Mick disengaged, I thought, from top wrestling, which created some space and allowed Meredith to lock it up. So
for sure,
that was bad.
And Meredith's one of the darlings of the tournament, one of the dark horses. Do you see those eyebrows?
Dude,
he
looks like Zach Morris. He looks like Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell.
That's actually good. I didn't think about that. That's a good call. Some people were saying he was the Sage Northcutt of NCAA wrestling.
That's a good one too. I like that.
Oh man. Okay, 149. Rutherford smashes.
Just smashes.
Pantaleo gets the fall. And then these last two matches were, this is another suicide watch moment for me. Yeah. Because Jake Sufo went to my high school. Levon Mays obviously goes to Missouri. May shoots 12 times to Kalika's damn near 0.
Kalika's from Ohio.
Kalika, well, they teach stalling in Ohio. Kalika's wrestling off his knees. And somehow, Levon loses 3-2 on 2 stall calls.
That was brutal. That's a misapplication.
Brutal.
That's misapplication.
Yep. And then Jake Suflon goes to double overtime with Brandon Sorsen, but loses on a takedown. And it was the 4th set, so it was, the defeat.
I really liked watching Suflon throughout his career.
Man.
He was an exciting guy to watch.
He never got the All-American, so that was sad. I was really cheering for Jake, but came a little short there. So Isaiah Bruschetta wrestled him tough. I mean, there's no way around that.
He did, yeah. Bruschetta's good. Ohio.
Oh, okay. Next match. Ian Miller, that's Ohio too.
Ohio.
Brian Murphy's not Ohio. He's Illinois.
Yeah.
Murphy wrestles him tough. Nolf beats up on Joe Smith.
I watched that.
He was kind of competitive, but not really.
I don't think it was very competitive. It was for about 3.5 minutes, and then the roof caved in.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And then Walsh versus Cody Pack. I gotta watch this because I heard Pack was up 6-0, and Walsh came back and win 11-10. So I heard it's a great match. I haven't got to watch it, but Walsh obviously was one of the big upset semifinalists here. Okay, 141.
41.
Oh my God! Wow, I'm reading backwards. 165. Nothing super
big there. 74.
Nothing
big there. I mean, you've got Miles Martin on a roll, but against guys he should be beating at this point. So
yeah. 84, Dean gets revenge over Nolan Boyd. Renda beats Savasky. I thought that was a big one because the result was the other way around, I believe, at the ACC. Savasky beating Renda. My boy Willie Mickles comes up big and dominated. Tomo.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And then, actually, the Dudley-Brooks match was a lot of fun. It was.
Yep.
So Dudley got that big 4-point tilt. And then this is where I talk about, again, Iowa doesn't have a good leg attack. And, Brooks just kept trying to dig the underhooks, and he's down by 4 or 5 points.
Yep.
It's like, just shoot a freaking double leg. I mean, come on. You got to take him down multiple times here. He did, with 4 seconds left, he almost threw him to his back. Almost, somehow.
The mullet didn't work.
Didn't get it done. Did not get it done. Okay, 197. Nothing particularly
crazy.
noteworthy there.
Quarterfinals, nothing crazy. Everybody should have won one.
Yep, 1 through 4 wins. And then heavyweight, nothing particularly crazy either. The top 4 win pretty easily. All right, let's go semis. Semis were a lot more fun. Well, I didn't realize there really wasn't that many upsets in the quarters.
No, it was day one.
It was day one.
There were 3 upsets. Okay,
so let's go to semis. We start out, obviously, with a Buckeye getting upset, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was tough.
How about this pin call? Gilman beats him.
It was not a pin.
It was laughable.
It was not a pin.
And what I keep crediting the Iowa fans said, Brooks had someone pinned in the wrestlebacks, and they stopped it because of blood, which was asinine. That ref's an idiot. Don't stop it because of blood. Just slap the freaking mat. But Iowa, you got one back here because
got it back. It was not a pin. It was obviously a win,
close,
which is all that really matters.
I think the ref said, "You know what? This is over."
How about Tomasello with the lifted single at the end of the third period?
I couldn't believe he couldn't finish. I thought I was calling. I said, "This is
especially
over."
Tomasello, as fundamental as he is, you would think.
And Gilman's not someone you think of as this guy's a scrambler. He's going to be really, he's not a mega. Mega's hard to finish on.
No.
He's not that guy, and so I called it. I said, "This is over."
Yep.
And obviously Gilman made it through there. He got the win in overtime, and that renews that rivalry for next year.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great.
Those
it's
two
going to be great. I mean, I think Gilman's now 1-2 against Tomasello. Tomasello beat him in the Big Ten finals, and then they both, it could be interesting. 33. The Megaludas went over Terrell, was pretty controlling. 33.
And that ended the sweet story. I guess I wasn't there and you weren't there, but people were telling me that Terrell was the crowd favorite.
I'll tell you,
freaking nuts.
I watched Tomasello wrestle Terrell for third, and he was the crowd favorite on Saturday.
Were they going nuts?
Oh, they were going nuts.
That's what someone else that was there told me. They told me people were going freaking nuts over it. Wow, and then 33 starts off with a bang.
21-second pin over the returning national champions. Quite a statement. Great momentum builder for Nishan as he went into the finals. I mean,
yeah, just blast double, and they kind of got in the scramble, and he catches him on his back, and that's all she wrote. And then the other one was kind of slow, as we had predicted, and we knew it was going to be, but Zane got a nice takedown in the second period, and Clark comes back, and I say he can't shoot, but he shot, and he scored with about, 6-ish seconds left to beat Zane Richards 4-3. So that was kind of a wild one. 41, you got Dean Heil and Anthony Ashnault fairly controlling 8-3 decision.
I was surprised that it was controlling.
I agree. I thought Ashnault was going to be in the finals. Yep. So, you know what? Dean seems to be a very intellectual wrestler where he's
from Ohio.
Oh, man. Wow.
Wow. Anyways, keep going.
He goes in. He surgically gets his points. He's smart enough to stay out of the other people's great areas, and he goes in and he gets done what he needs to get done.
Yeah.
It's never very wow. There's never a wow factor there, but it's very workmanlike.
The only thing wow about Heil is that he won the Nationals, which is the only wow that matters.
Yeah, definitely. And then he's a junior, so he's coming back.
He's a sophomore.
Oh, shoot.
He'll be a junior next year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Okay, and then you got Bryce Meredith over Joey McKenna, which was a fun one.
Took out Bo Jordan. Who did he?
Took out Micah.
Took out Micah Jordan.
No,
that was his first upset.
There was someone before that. There was a 3 seed. Who's the 3 seed?
I don't.
Well,
Jack.
He took out Jack, which they were former teammates. So that's a crazy story,
I didn't know that.
Yes, Bryce Meredith was at NC State, but he thought he couldn't be the starter. So he's from Wyoming originally. Transfers back to Wyoming. and they meet in the round of 16 where Jack was a 3 seed and he's the 14, and he beats Jack.
Holy smokes,
Right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that took out Jack, then Mick, then McKenna. So you can't refute the path. It wasn't an easy one for him.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a scrambly. The McKenna Meredith was very scrambly. Okay, 49, you got rather dominated Pantaleo. There's no other way. Is it Pantaleo or Pantaleo? Do you know?
Pantaleo. I don't know.
You don't know.
It's not Pantaleo.
Jaden's
Pantaleo. It should be Jaden. That's how it looks.
And then Sorensen wins just kind of a blah decision over Kalika. I don't think that one was too exciting. 57. Now this was an exciting match. Did you watch this match?
Yeah, it was great. Ian Miller from Ohio with his inside trips from nowhere. I mean, he's got great inside trips. He does it from a right side overhook. Comes in there hard. Great match. Isaiah Martinez showed plenty of spunk and heart and grit. But man, Ian Miller left it all.
That takedown.
But
did you see that takedown that somehow Martinez avoided with a couple seconds left? Miller inside trips. So Miller inside trips him to bring it close. So he was winning by 1. Isaiah escapes to tie it up, and Miller hits another inside trip with say 5-6 seconds left. Martinez drops to his back and freaking rolled, popped the hips up, boom, and somehow scoots out before there's any kind of takedown to put it into overtime. Which, at that point, as the inside trips happen, you're thinking, oh my God, it's not going to be Martinez-Nolf, it's going to be Miller-Nolf.
Right.
Which I think it's kind of a crime against humanity we never saw Ian Miller versus Nolf.
That would have been great.
Fun.
It would have been good,
so much fun. And on the other semi, Nolf
just
smashes. Walsh is I think at this point he's a 15 seed. So, Gant, the 2 seed, got knocked out kind of early. 65, we got
Daringer not really avenging, but avenging a 1-point win.
No, I feel like he came out with some extra spunk, some extra determination to make sure that match wasn't close. 'Cause last time it was 4-3 in Stillwater. And I think Daringer says...
Well, he gave him his respect, but he also he was just more prepared, knew what he was good at,
Yep.
did what 3-time national champs do.
And he said, I want to get it done.
Yeah.
And then you got Isaac and Bo, 5-4.
Brutal.
Kind of just like Isaac versus Bo always is.
Brutal.
174 was exciting. Miles Martin won fairly easily over Leland Witherspoon, who was a dark horse. But the Nickel Jackson, did you get?
Yeah, I watched it, and this is right when, I don't think Bo Nickel wrestled his best at the national tournament compared to what he's done at other times of the year. And when I saw him win this match, I didn't know Miles was going to win. I'd be lying if I said that, but I knew it wasn't going to be a 2-minute pin like it was at the Big Ten.
Yeah,
I knew there was going to be some interesting dynamics to the match.
Definitely, and for what it's worth, Jackson damn near had that takedown.
He almost won.
With 5 seconds left. He kind of had the hand behind the armpit, but he couldn't quite get there.
Yeah.
But Jackson really impressed me. I didn't know Indiana made wrestlers that good, but he's freaking tough. Is he a senior? I don't even know.
I'm not sure.
So he if he's not a senior, he's going to be tough to deal with next year because he was really impressive, and I can't say I was really aware of him prior to this year at all. Were you?
No, I was not either.
So he's going to be. See, I'm looking it up right now. I'm trying to type into Google, see what we got. All right, 84.
Gabe Dean versus Redknapp.
It's not overly competitive, and unfortunately, my guy Willie Mickles kind of got beat up a little bit by
Cinderella story ended.
It ended.
I wouldn't call it Cinderella. Willie Mickles is good. 2-time All-American.
2-time All-American. He was the 14 seed, obviously, but
it's some bad losses. He deserved the 14 seed. But I don't think he's. I always thought he was better than the 14.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, 197 McIntosh over Burek and Jaden over Farr. Again, those weren't wild matches
Not
or
shockers.
super competitive at all. Nate Jackson is a junior.
Wow.
He's from Marion Catholic? I didn't know that. Marion Catholic, that's south side of Chicago. They got a really.
There you go.
We do a tournament there every once in a while. Yeah, wow, that's a tough team. So he will be back next year. That weight class is going to be fun. At heavyweight, Gwizdowski versus Kuhn was a nail biter, and Steiner won by 4 points over Walls, but that was a fun match. Walls got a takedown.
Yeah,
it was pretty close for a while.
Obviously, the right guy won on both semis, but they were good competitive matches, fun to watch, both of them. So
yeah, and like you were talking about earlier, those are 4 really high level heavyweights. I mean, it's a deep bracket.
You wouldn't even flinch if any one of those. Obviously the top 2, but Kuhn or Walls, if either one of them won it, you wouldn't say that's a weak. You wouldn't have said that they're a weak national champion.
And 3 of these guys are kind of, Kuhn and Walls are both juniors, and Snyder's obviously a sophomore. So you're gonna see those guys.
I didn't know Walls was a junior.
Yeah, I just looked up. I was looking up Virginia Tech's
Wow.
website, and the only senior Virginia Tech loses is Bruschetta. So they return all those All-Americans. And
I wonder who they have in the hopper with recruits.
Yeah, obviously they got Danton Zavatsky that wanted to
Yeah,
add some points to the board too. All right, so let's go to the finals. I don't know. I'm bringing these up on my computer, but I don't know that really even
Don't even need to bring them up.
need to do that because I kind of got them. So Tommy, I freaked my wife out with my memory. I told her I could remember every move that happened in the NCAA finals. But one day, like 4 years ago, I played this 2-day disc golf tournament. So 4 rounds of disc golf. You're talking roughly 60 shots around, 50 to 60 shots. And I could remember every shot I took. Literally. I'll tell you where it landed, under which tree, what happened, did it go too far to the left or right. I got this bizarre memory for things I like. If I don't like it, I don't remember it. But if I like it. So, and you probably are, I guess, the same way about wrestling.
Very much so, yep.
We've kind of talked about a few of these matches we've kind of hit on already.
I give Megaludis credit, though. He went out there and pushed the pace. He's had a lot of 1-to-1 OT, ticky-tack, Mickey Mouse, 125-pounders, hummingbird matches. And
that's for Tommy, stop.
And
these little guys are going to hate you.
And it wasn't that way.
It wasn't.
He went after it and got it done and scored. Put himself underneath, and you know what I mean? He got it done.
Well, that scramble he scored out of in the first period, was off Gilman's shot, but the way he went into that scramble, I'm thinking about doing a technique video on it.
Right.
It was freaking ballsy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like, damn, he just went for that?
Yeah,
like,
it was great.
Because he could have very, 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 very easily given up 2 points there.
No doubt.
And where he could have stayed, and it was kind of like, wasn't a great position, but it wasn't terrible. Yeah. He really went for it. And then, obviously, second period, he gets takedown 2. And it, kind of opens the matchup there, and so that was, and we were all happy to see Nico. And he started the trend off of going up and hugging the parents, and that was, something we saw a lot on TV. Not everyone hugged their parents, but a lot of these guys went up and hugged their parents. So happy to see Nico get it done. Now, I was kind of thinking, Tommy, if he loses, he's the best finisher ever without a title. Period. Right? 2, 2, 2, 3. 9 total. Number-wise, numerically. Yeah. It's never been done.
Yeah.
Never, ever been done. So, would you rather be the guy with 1 title who is really good, or the best ever to never win a title?
That's not a serious question.
But it kind of is. Like, 10 years down the road. Like, you can tell someone, I am, literally, Tommy, numerically, there's never been one person to wrestle in the NCAAs who has not won a title.
The ultimate bridesmaid.
Ultimate bridesmaid. That'd be freaking impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, you want the title. Yeah, you're right. I do too. We kind of talked about this.
The most lopsided 1-point match ever.
Yeah, wasn't it?
The most lopsided 1-point match ever.
And really, I think there was 2 other takedowns where Nishan was like right there for him, but Clark somehow slips out of him.
If he would have lost,
it would have been a crime against humanity.
Oh my God, crime against humanity.
Because he gave up. So what? He gives up 3 escapes and 3 stall points?
Absolutely.
Because Clark doesn't score a reversal or back points.
This is where it was misapplication.
Or is it 4 escapes?
Misapplication of the rules. I don't even if the referee was calling it correctly, we need to fix that.
Yeah, definitely. Because like we talked about earlier, Nishan was on fire the first period, and Clark was just trying to slow him down and disengage so he doesn't give up too many points. Yeah. Because the thing with Deshaun is you shoot on him, he's so great with those go-behinds where he bounces, grabs low. Most lopsided 1-point decision in the NCAA Finals I can remember in a long time. 41, that was, it says 3-2, which kind of seems like, hey, it could be boring. But Meredith was going after it.
Oh, yeah, he was playing for keeps.
He was, he's in the NCAA Finals, and he wasn't like, I'm happy to lose close with it. He's like, this is my freaking title. I'm going to go get it.
Zach Morris, he's wrestling AC Slater.
Yeah, and one of the things I love that he did, because sometimes scramblers, I'm going to put him in the category of a scrambler, are scared to shoot. because they don't have great offense. But something I always did, especially in my early years in college, is I would shoot a shitty shot to put myself in the scramble. Because I know they can't help but try to take me down, and then we're in the scramble and we're going.
They can't help themselves. That's exactly right.
And that's exactly what Meredith was doing, and it was genius because he knew that's how he was going to beat Heil.
Right.
And he was really freaking close to locking a few things up there in the third period.
It was great. It was great.
But Heil's great against the scramble. So that was it was 3-2, but to me that was a really
good
fun match.
Yeah, I wasn't upset with that at all. This is the best finals I've ever seen.
I think it was.
Ever seen.
I think it was for sure. All right, Zane, this is kind of one of the matches because Zane goes out there and does what Zane does, and he essentially dominates.
What was his total riding time?
I don't even know. A lot?
At least 3, right?
At least 3. More. It's got to be more than that. It's not a Kyle Dake 609 or anything.
That was a crime against humanity.
What?
Zane's win.
Oh, yeah. Man, and so, I mean, really, when you come down to it, I told people that the matches that weren't really competitive in the finals were 49-65. And I think that those are your two, the 4 finalists for the Hodge are Nishan, Zane, Alex Dieringer, and Snyder. But when I think it comes down to it, Zane and Dieringer are your real two finalists.
Yeah, I personally think that Zane's dominance and Dieringer's dominance this year is kind of a wash. Therefore, Dieringer should win.
Yeah, and I actually got the email with the Hodge, and they
you have a vote.
I have a vote, and
are you going to reveal this? Or are you going to wait till next week?
Let's wait till next week.
Okay.
But I haven't made my vote yet. I need to make it before Thursday. But I looked. They give you match by match results,
right?
Which is really interesting, and really, they both had one match that was essentially competitive,
right?
Right. Daniel
Lewis
4-3, and then Zane beats Klangen 2-1. And then Zane had, I believe, a 4-1 over Kalaka. And I don't think Dieringer had another one that was that close.
No.
He had a few less pins, but I don't think... You know what? I can go to my email right now and find it. I don't think that Dieringer had another one that was what you would say, wow, this is competitive. A 2-point match or even a 3-point match. Damn it. Did I delete it? What the heck? I'm going to search for it, Tommy. But yeah, so I don't think he even has a match that's that competitive. Oh man, hold on. Let me go to my. How did I get in the trash? How does that happen sometimes? So this is here's the match by match results of Alex Dieringer right here. You see like it's a lot of majors. He's not as big of a pin and a lot of tech falls. But
we should actually talk about this next week for sure.
Yeah,
because I'd like to go down deep.
Sure.
On all 4 candidates. Because you got Snyder, who's 11-0. That dynamic is
can't give it to Snyder, really.
But we can still talk about it.
He's done.
We can still talk about it.
The other one which I didn't even realize, I wasn't paying attention to the Big 12 championships, but Dieringer only beat Tanner Weatherman 4-2, which I find kind of, I don't know what happened in that match, but that's his other competitive match of the season. And Weatherman's not that good. I don't know how that,
Yeah.
Like Lewis is a 4th place guy, and he beat him
He
worse.
smashed him. He avenged the 1-point win.
Besides those two, there's not a match closer than 6 points in here.
Yep.
So it's not like Dieringer was really challenged all season. Like I
said,
same
with Rutherford.
And same with Rutherford. So Rutherford's got I'll pull his match results up. He's got the...
I think actually, in terms of pure dominance, Zane has an ever so slight edge.
Yeah.
But with Dieringer getting his 3rd title, whether the body of work counts or not, it counts.
Yeah.
For voters like you.
It does. It does count.
It becomes a tiebreaker.
It's a category in there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, past results. Yeah, and so I think the 3 titles are important. Dieringer hasn't lost in like 2.5 years or something.
Right.
I think that's
81
really,
straight.
81 straight. I think that's really important because that's, even like a Stieber had a loss in there, which was to Zane.
Zane.
But Ruth had a loss in there. I mean, just putting that many matches together.
To Gabe Dean.
To Gabe Dean. Well, he was a freshman at the time.
Yeah,
both these guys are freshmen when they take those losses. So, Zane's 3 matches that were competitive all year were he beat Torrenson 4-0, which was a lopsided 4-0. Kalaka's 4-1, which is competitive. And then, Klangen, which is 2-1. And then his only other non-bonus point was over Ken Theobald, which is 8-1. And, he's got a few more pins. He's got a few more tech faults. But when you say, how many matches this season were competitive? For both of them, for both Dieringer and Zane, you're saying not very many.
Right.
One, really, I think. Okay, let's get back to the finals. Some Hodge talk for you. Okay. Martinez Nolf. Awesome.
Lived up
so
to his
awesome.
billing.
Totally awesome.
Awesome. Incredible match. Both guys. You know, it was so awesome that you can't really talk about. You know, it was a phenomenal match. They both brought it. I thought it was interesting how Martinez didn't look tired hardly at all at the end of the match.
Yeah. You know what?
To your point, the confidence and momentum built from the Big Tens. It was definitely a close match, and Martinez definitely could have lost, but I don't think he ever thought he was going to lose.
Yeah, no, I agree. I felt like he was very confident in the match. Obviously, Nolf is super freaking high level, but yeah, I don't think Isaiah thought he was ever going to lose. I feel like even though it was close, he was kind of in control, and he went out and got the takedown in the match, and gets it done, and then and then cuts him and he wins by 1 point. And the great thing about this one is where Zane, I told you I want to pay Pico to come back, so we can see that rivalry.
Gosh, it's amazing that Pico's like 6-0.
Oh my god,
Zane.
ridiculous!
It's amazing.
But we get to see this rivalry, Nolf Martinez,
2 more years.
Unless for some reason Nolf goes up, which I don't know. Penn State's gonna have a real log jam because they got Zane, they got Nolf, they got Manville, they got Vincenzo Joseph, and they got Mark Hall, who are all in my mind. I don't think any of them are really big enough to be a true 74. So for those 3 weight classes, they got 5 high-level guys.
And none of them are small enough to be 41.
And none of them are small enough to be 41.
What's Vincenzo Joseph's weight?
He missed weight by like 10 pounds at the scuffle for 49.
Yeah, he's out.
So, but he's not a huge guy. He's kind of, he's not huge. And Mark Hall, same thing. Mark Hall hasn't really grown too much in the last, say,
That's
3
gonna
years.
Be a log jam, for sure.
And Manville's not getting any bigger either. So I think you're all... And obviously one of them can wrestle 74, but it's not like, hey, this is your ideal weight class.
Yep, I would agree.
And then obviously they got Rashid, who did a decent job at 65 this year as a freshman, but he's, probably going to have a hard time finding a spot in the lineup. So it'll be interesting to see where Nolf goes, but I hope we get to continue to see this Nolf-Martinez rivalry.
Yeah.
Okay, so 65, Dearinger Jordan, what we talked about, kind of boring. There's not a whole lot going on. So, rumor has it, and maybe you can confirm or deny or otherwise, that Bo's going up, which I won't be sad to see that rivalry end. Jordan versus Jordan.
You won't be sad?
They're never that enthralling to me,
Yeah.
and Isaac's won every one, so I'm not sad to see that rivalry go.
I don't know what's going on with Tom Ryan and staff. I haven't talked to them since Nationals, but I do believe, as a guy who knows the lineup at Ohio State fairly well, I don't know how you don't move Bo up to 74 and Miles to 84. And I realize that means Miles has to take on Valencia and Gabe Dean and whoever else is at 84, but it's best for the team.
Yeah.
It was best for the team that Bo go down.
Yeah.
And it's now best for the team that Bo go
Miles
up.
doesn't look small.
Miles
does not look small.
Miles, the first time I ever met Miles, I shook his hand in October at a 7 a.m. workout. I was training for the marathon on Ohio State treadmill, and I went and watched them practice at 7 a.m. He was built like a brick you-know-what house.
Oh, yeah.
At 195 pounds. So he can definitely...
Could be 84 for sure.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know the situation inside at all, but to me, I'm like, that dude's cutting
Here's the
quite a bit.
situation at Ohio State, just like any other great program. They do what's best for the team 100% of the time.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't in Bo Jordan's best interest to go down to 65 this year, but it was in the team's, and Bo was happy to go down to 65. And I think what's in the best interest of the team this year is that Bo go up and Miles go up and Isaiah White go in.
Yeah.
And then they've got, if Isaiah White can come along, that's going to help the program. So I don't know what they're doing, but if I'm the coach, I'm putting Bo up and Miles up.
Definitely.
So, and he looked great. I mean, 11 seed, national champ.
Now, so that goes right into that match. That match was freaking fun.
It was fun.
There's no way. Bo Nickel goes for a freaking double overhook throw right at the bat, and Miles gets the takedown.
It was more like a Miles double that Bo.
It was off the double,
yeah.
And that's where some people said, I put out that video that said every NCAA final scored for leg attack, and some people were saying, well, Miles didn't, but
that was off of a leg attack.
Off of a leg attack.
That was a leg attack.
Technically speaking, maybe he didn't finish cleanly.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a leg attack. He initiated the action. So
did this throw in the second period. I mean, a thing of beauty, right? I mean, it was like, wow. Oh, my God.
It was the first time I ever saw Miles Martin kind of let it go.
Yeah.
In any match, really. He just said, I'm going to try to win the Nationals. And so when you're that talented, those things happen more oftentimes than not. So great match by Miles Martin. True freshman, national champ.
You know, one of the things well, first of all, his dad in those glasses. Tom Ryan, it might be a recruiting violation. Tom Ryan needs to buy his dad a pair of glasses because those are cracking me up. But
I loved his fist pumps.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
It was good. It was good stuff.
But Miles, okay, he's winning, what was it, maybe 11-5 going into the third period? 11-4?
Yeah.
I don't know, 10-4, somewhere in there. And obviously the only way he can lose at this point is to get thrown.
Uh-huh.
And he freaking locks up with him.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, is this a freshman move or what?
Well, he's still a true freshman.
Like, what are you doing right now, Miles? Are you trying to freaking blow your glory?
Yeah, it was bad.
And somehow, he got thrown.
Yeah.
He sneaks his arm out, goes to his belly, but to me, I was like, oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
This is like watching a train wreck. Like,
oh, yeah.
Can't really believe this is happening. But it also shows kind of a lot of, I mean, I don't know, it's stupid or ballsy.
Yeah.
It can be on either sides of those. You don't really know which one it is. Wow.
It was freshman-y.
It was freshman-y. That's sad. And what do you think Tom Ryan was thinking right now? Like,
oh, God.
No! All right, Dean versus Dudley.
Workmanlike.
Fun match, workmanlike. That wasn't a takedown. If you had to say who were you cheering for, Dean or Dudley, I'm cheering for Gabe Dean. I don't think it was a takedown. I think this new flash takedown stuff is like crap. He was on an ankle and not really the belly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it was a takedown. And then, it was instantaneously where Dudley hits a switch and they come up to their feet. I just don't see how that can be considered. I really don't see how that can be considered a takedown. I don't know. Maybe you're on the other side of the coin.
I don't remember the action as much as you do. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's rewatch. So you guys rewatch. Maybe tweet us when you think takedown, not takedown. Obviously, they reviewed it. Nebraska coaches were furious. They reviewed it. Refs say, yeah, our call stands. We're cool. Jaden versus Morgan. The one thing about this match, and I thought Jaden really controlled me out. Jaden's freaking outstanding. I mean, people don't realize.
Hey, let's stop real quick though. Jaden, I just listened to his singing at Missouri.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! Talk about multi-talented.
Yeah.
This guy could be on American Idol tomorrow. Incredible.
Maybe we should send him up there.
Well, I think we need to start a movement on this podcast. Jaden Cox, whether he's in the finals or not, whether he's wrestling, he needs to sing the national anthem as the NCAA finals get started next year in his warm-up. I think it'd be cool.
I think that'd be pretty awesome.
It's in St. Louis.
It's in St. Louis.
He's a senior.
His mom sings the national anthem
at
all
the
time.
Missouri Tigers basketball games.
Yeah.
So he comes from a musical family. It's in St. Louis, his home state. He's a senior. I realize the crowd will probably like him a little bit more and therefore cheer for him a little bit more in the finals. So you'd be doing a disservice almost to the. But this is about promoting wrestling. This is about marketing our sport, and that would be cool. That would be on the Sports Center top 10, or should be, in my opinion.
I'm good. I'll push. You know what? I got to call with Brian. I got to call Brian Smith right after this, so I'm going to tell him.
Give it a shot. Let's do it.
We need to push that next year.
But anyway, back to wrestling.
So, no, that's a great topic. Jaden Cox doing the national anthem. I love it. We actually had my roommate who was a wrestler at Mizzou. He was not a national champ like Jaden, but he was a wrestler, and he sung the national anthem.
Not as good of a story, man.
Whatever. Damn it, Tommy. Okay, so back to this match. Mont Prater, shout out, what's up? Sung the national anthem. Jaden, I don't understand how the first takedown that Jaden was going to have was not fleeing the mat. I don't know if you remember it, but McIntosh freaking dove 17 feet off the mat. And they don't even give him a stall warning.
Because he wrestles for the Nittany Lions.
Is that why? Because I don't know there's any other reason for it.
No, that was fleeing. I have no idea why they didn't call that.
And then he almost did it again on the last takedown where Jaden just grabbed his ankle before he left. But he was headed for, as soon as Jaden got that single up, that dude was headed for the out of bounds like nothing.
Yeah. Morgan McIntosh, though, great career at Penn State. Didn't get it done. You say that, you feel kind of bad saying that, but he was the #1 recruit overall in the United States. So didn't get it done, but good career. And Jaden, going for 3 national titles, third as a sophomore only to Kyle Snyder, who could be another 3-time national champ and a world and Olympic champ. So,
yeah.
Could be really
Yeah,
interesting.
he only has 3 losses. Obviously there's a disqualification this year for that slam.
Boy, and he sure deserved that. I mean, that's a
He's such a nice guy. I don't know what he was doing there. I don't know what he's thinking. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. But he had 2 losses as a true freshman. And remember, he still has a redshirted. So he had 2 losses as a true freshman. And he loses to Snyder. And then he lost to McIntosh in the Wrestlebacks.
I didn't know he was a true freshman.
Yeah, he didn't redshirt. He beat, what's-his-face in the final? Your guy.
Oh, yeah, I know I know who he beat in the finals. I just thought he was a redshirt freshman.
No,
wow.
never redshirted. That was a true freshman
That's
year.
amazing.
So, that's there. And then, the main event, which lived up to billing as the main event, was totally freaking awesome. I mean,
incredible.
These guys came to wrestle, and that's what it comes down to.
It was the best match of the tournament. It was the best, and people, I think it was the best wrestling of the tournament. Quality wrestling. When you talk about world-class wrestling, the stuff that those guys were doing out there with their setups, with the control ties, with the defense to leg attacks, it was stuff that you see at the Olympic Games. I've never not thought Wazowski was a good wrestler. I've always thought that. But in that loss, I actually learned how good he really is. And I know he probably doesn't like hearing that, but as good as I knew he was, he had that match won. Now he lost, and the other thing that so even though I give Gwiz so much respect for how he wrestled, I think he's gonna get multiple world medals at heavyweight. Maybe not this year, but I think he's gonna be an animal. But that being said, I hated how people say that Snyder was lucky or that Gwiz kind of blew it at the end. That's exactly how Snyder beat Gatisov in the World Finals.
Yeah. I would say, I think there's a lot of ways you can analyze this match. One of the things I would say is that Snyder, I was shocked. I actually lost a bet during this match. I could not believe that Gwiz didn't try a little harder to ride him. He built up that riding time in the second.
If he would have had 15 more seconds of riding time.
I want to say he had 41 going into the third period, and he's on top, right? And I bet one of the kids I coach, he's smart enough, he's going to get a minute. One way or the other. He's going to grab a leg, he's going to push him out, he's going to do something. Because he's got no stall warnings at this point. I'm saying he's getting it, so I bet him 30 push-ups that he gets this ride time. And he lets Snyder out in I want to say 10 or 11 seconds, so he's at 53 seconds where... listen, perfect strategy, and this heat of the moment. So maybe he's not, but push him out of bounds, get a stall warning, get it up to 108 or 110 where he got some cushion, and then so he gets it up to 51. He gets another takedown off of an amazing scramble, and he gets it over the minute, but not by a lot.
Yeah.
And you got no stall warnings. Get that thing up to minute 20, minute 30.
Those. There's a lot of ways
right?
that it could have been different, but the cool thing is it was 2 takedowns to 2 takedowns. All 4 of the takedowns scored were world class in their own right. The first takedown was just a standard, good hips, sliding off the shoulder, go behind. Second takedown was Wazowski, who is at the wrong weight class and the wrong body build to do that. What do you call it?
Ankle pass.
Ankle pass. The foot pass or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
For the score at heavyweight, incredible. And then Snyder's 2 TDs, the one at the end of the regulation and the one in overtime. Just overall good stuff. The composure they both had. That match lived up to it. It's the greatest heavyweight match of all time.
One thing that I was just really shocked about is Gwizdowski got in on a couple single legs, and he's trying to sit the middle. I call it sit the middle, but he was going to go to his knees and go to the middle. Head in the middle, lifting up, and he kind of got Snyder off the mat, and he wasn't able to get him all the way up. And this was shocking to me because we're talking Snyder's at 225, and Gwizdowski wrestles heavyweight, so he's regularly wrestling much bigger guys than Snyder. How does he not get him all the way up? So Snyder must just be that freaking strong.
Yeah,
where he was, the lock strong. On the waist,
I know.
The hip was good. Oh, we know. So, but I was shocked that because usually in that position, if you get them an inch off the mat, they're going up in the air.
Yeah.
You wrestle, I wrestle, we know. You get them up a little bit in the middle, boom, they're up on your shoulders.
Yeah.
And Gwiz gets him off the mat a few inches, then it's just like Kyle Snyder said, gravity will become heavier. And he couldn't get lifted anymore. It was I was like, how's he not freaking lifting him here? To me, it was shocking.
Yeah,
it really was.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting. I know we're dissecting this match a lot. And the other thing that Snyder which I think he really had to do in this match more than others. And I guess I can't say I wasn't as impressed in this one skill as another match, but I was impressed how great he got angles.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his angles were phenomenal, and even on the shots that Gwiazdowski stopped, his angles were phenomenal. And you need that against a bigger guy.
Yeah,
but,
or you're gonna wait if you just try to, if you're 226 pounds as a heavyweight. I'm familiar with that feeling. If you just try to take the guy down by using your brute strength only, you're gonna get exhausted. You have to get angles. You have to create angles. You have to, be in a position where you don't have to use every ounce of your soul to get the takedown, because you only got 3 or 4 of those in you before you blow a gasket. So he is great at doing that, and that's why he is who he is.
Yeah, and one takedown, obviously he used at the end of regulation, and which I think we saw a lot in the NCAAs, and I think it's becoming a trend because it essentially takes the scramble out of the picture, which is what you're trying to do. If you're a great offensive wrestler,
blocking both legs,
you're trying to boom. Now, I mean, it's almost like an ankle pick, and it's almost like a low double. It's kind of almost like a hybrid type of shot. I don't know exactly what to call it. Somewhere between a low double and an ankle pick. That shot or that type of attack, I think we're going to be seeing become incredibly more prevalent at the college level. I think we're already seeing it.
Oh yeah.
So,
I think we're good here, man. That's an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking this was going to be a short episode.
We're losing some interest here, I think. We're
turned into a long episode. Wow. Okay, so next week we're going to hit a season. That was an NCAA tournament recap. We'll hit a season recap next week, and then the week after that we got a Olympic Trials preview show, which who knows?
Rich Bender. We got plenty of people that want to be on the show.
So we'll maybe bring on a guest for that one.
Oh, we got Bender after the trials and before World Cup. That's what we're going to do. So
we'll bring on someone for the Olympic Trials preview. And Tommy and I are even thinking about giving away awards next week. So maybe we'll give away awards.
I'm in on that.
All right. Thanks, guys. That was episode 19. Thanks for listening for always.
Thank you, Defense Soap. Defend what you have built.
Awesome. Have a great day, guys. Brought to you by All Force Nutrition, a wrestling company with products for wrestlers, by wrestlers. They sponsor a plethora of senior level athletes, including David Taylor, John Rear, Dustin Schlater, Zach Sanders, and their products are delicious. I've had their post-workout, I've had their pre-workout. I'm even getting old, so I'm taking some of the joint pills. Log on to allforcenutrition.com and get some of your products today.